The 6 pillars of a fulfilling old age, reclaiming joy, connection, and purpose. As we journey through life, we accumulate experiences, wisdom, and yes, a few wrinkles along the way. While society often focuses on the perceived downsides of aging, the graying hair, the slower pace, it often overlooks the true essence of a fulfilling later life. It's not the mere absence of youth that makes old age challenging. It's the potential absence of certain key elements that infuse meaning, connection, and joy into our golden years. Too often, there's an underlying assumption that misery in old age is an unavoidable fate, that loneliness, boredom, and regret are simply part of the package. But this couldn't be further from the truth. What truly distinguishes a life of quiet suffering from one of peace, dignity, and vibrant engagement are 6 simple yet profound elements. These aren't extravagant luxuries or complicated pursuits. They are fundamental human needs that, when unmet, can cast a long shadow over our later years. This comprehensive exploration delves into these 6 essential elements, revealing how they can transform our experience of aging. By understanding what may be missing, we can actively begin to cultivate these vital aspects, leading to a life that feels whole, valued, and vibrantly alive, regardless of age. These 6 pillars aren't merely nice to have. They are the foundational supports upon which a meaningful and joyful old age is built. Without them, life can feel hollow and adrift, but with them, something shifts. Joy returns, confidence blossoms, and we rediscover who we are, not just who we used to be. 1. The presence of a purposeful daily routine, structuring time, anchoring meaning. Without a daily sense of purpose, the days can easily begin to blur into an indistinguishable mass. We wake up, go through the motions, and by evening, we may wonder where the time went, feeling a vague sense of unease that something important is missing. This is because purpose, even in its smallest form, provides structure to time and infuses meaning into our actions. It doesn't need to be a grand, world-altering endeavor. It simply needs to feel like it matters, even on a personal level. Consider the story of Walter, a 76-year-old retired mechanic. Initially, retirement felt like liberation. No more alarms, no rigid schedules. But gradually, his energy waned, his mood declined, and his sleep became restless. What had once felt like well-deserved rest slowly morphed into a feeling of restlessness and discontent. When asked how he spent his days, he struggled to answer, the silence speaking volumes. Humans are inherently wired for rhythm and purpose, and this need doesn't diminish with age. In fact, it often becomes even more crucial. The happiest older adults are often not those with the most freedom, but those with the clearest focus. They may tend to their garden each morning, read a chapter of a new book daily, write letters, organize drawers, feed birds, or call a friend. These rituals may seem ordinary, but they are anything but. They are lifelines, anchors that provide a framework for the day. A purposeful routine helps you wake up with intention and go to bed with a sense of satisfaction. It gives your mind something to anticipate, your body a reason to move, and your heart something to remain open to. Furthermore, it creates opportunities for connection. People check in on you, you share your progress, you teach, you listen. However, when structure is removed, when days stretch out without aim or anchor, loneliness can creep in. You might begin to feel like you're drifting, not living. Sadness can then grow, not from a single dramatic event, but from the slow erosion of meaning. If you're experiencing that dull emptiness, that sense that something is missing, examine how your days are structured. Then choose one thing, just one small activity, to do each morning or evening, something to track or return to. This small thread can become a lifeline, not just to a better day, but to a more fulfilling life. Purpose can manifest in countless ways. Volunteering, contributing your skills and time to a cause you care about, can provide a sense of purpose and connection. Creative pursuits, engaging in activities like painting, writing, music, or crafting can stimulate the mind and provide a sense of accomplishment. Lifelong learning, taking courses, attending lectures, or simply reading books can keep your mind sharp and expand your horizons. Mentoring, sharing your knowledge and experience with younger generations, can be incredibly rewarding. Caregiving, providing support to a family member or friend in need, can offer a strong sense of purpose and connection. Gardening, nurturing plants and watching them grow can be a therapeutic and fulfilling activity. Home improvement, tackling small projects around the house, can provide a sense of accomplishment and control. Social engagement, joining clubs, attending community events, or simply spending time with friends and family can combat loneliness and provide a sense of belonging. The key is to find activities that resonate with your interests, values, and abilities, and to incorporate them into a daily or weekly routine. The regularity and sense of accomplishment that come with a purposeful routine can be a powerful antidote to the feelings of aimlessness and despair that can sometimes accompany old age. 2. The habit of maintaining physical vitality. Through small habits, staying engaged with life, physical energy is about more than just staying fit. It's about staying engaged with life. When your body begins to slow down, even slightly, everything else can feel heavier. Tasks that once felt easy now seem like burdens. Getting out of bed, making a meal, going to the store, it all takes a little more effort. When that effort isn't supported by small, consistent habits, people may begin to retreat, not out of laziness, but because their bodies no longer feel like allies. Consider Harold, an 81-year-old who had always been strong and active. After an unexpected illness, he stopped moving as much, telling himself it was just for a few weeks. But weeks turned into months. His muscles weakened, his joints stiffened, and his confidence dwindled. Soon, even short walks felt intimidating. What Harold didn't realize is that small physical habits, performed daily, are often more powerful than occasional grand efforts. You don't need a gym membership, heavy weights, or hour-long sessions. What you need is movement that meets you where you are. 10 minutes of stretching in the morning light resistance band work in the afternoon, standing leg lifts while brushing your teeth. These small actions compound over time. They preserve strength, protect joints, and keep blood flowing. Most importantly, they remind you that your body is still capable. That feeling of capability is one of the strongest antidotes to misery in old age. When your body moves, your mind follows. Energy rises, mood improves, and you look forward to the day instead of dreading it. These small physical efforts also instill a sense of pride, not the kind that comes from comparing yourself to others, but the quiet kind that says, I showed up for myself today. The challenge many seniors face isn't a lack of desire, but a belief that if they can't do what they used to, it's not worth doing at all. But that's a dangerous assumption, because what you do now doesn't need to resemble what you did before. It simply needs to keep you feeling strong, steady, and mobile. That's enough. That's more than enough. When you choose to move your body even gently, you're not just maintaining your health. You're reclaiming your space in the world. You're declaring, I still belong here. I still have places to go, things to reach for, and people to show up for. Here are some accessible ways to incorporate physical activity into your daily routine. Walking. A simple walk around the block or in a park can do wonders for your physical and mental well-being. Chair exercises. Numerous exercises can be done while seated, making them ideal for those with limited mobility. Swimming. Water provides buoyancy and support, making swimming a low-impact and enjoyable form of exercise. Yoga or Tai Chi. These practices improve flexibility, balance, and strength, while also promoting relaxation and mindfulness. Dancing. Put on some music and move your body. Dancing is a fun and social way to get your heart rate up and improve coordination. Gardening. Digging, planting, and weeding are all great ways to get some exercise while enjoying the outdoors. Household chores. Activities like vacuuming, dusting, and doing laundry can also contribute to your daily physical activity. Stretching. Regular stretching can improve flexibility and range of motion, reducing stiffness and pain. Remember to consult with your doctor before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have any underlying health conditions. The key is to find activities that you enjoy and that you can realistically incorporate into your daily life. 3. The presence of emotional connection with others, being seen, heard, and valued. One of the most insidious forms of suffering in old age isn't physical, it's emotional, and it often begins with something as subtle as silence. A few missed calls, fewer invitations, a longer pause between visits. At first, it just feels like space. But slowly, that space can turn into isolation, and before long, a person may begin to wonder if anyone still sees them at all. The truth is that emotional connection isn't just something we enjoy. It's something we need, especially as we grow older. Consider the story of Ruth, a 78-year-old widow who had always been surrounded by friends in her younger years. As time passed, some friends moved away, others passed on, and her children became busy with their own lives. Though she didn't like to complain, she began to feel a kind of ache that wasn't physical. It was deeper, a feeling that no one really knew her anymore, that her stories didn't have a place to land, that she was slowly disappearing. What Ruth was missing wasn't noise or activity, it was connection, the kind that comes from being truly heard, from laughing with someone who understands your past, from sitting in quiet companionship with someone who simply cares that you're there. That kind of connection nourishes us. It reminds us that we matter, that we belong. Doctors now understand that emotional isolation is as harmful as chronic illness. It raises stress levels, increases the risk of dementia, and even shortens lifespan. Beyond the science, loneliness steals joy. It turns the days gray, and it makes everything feel a little heavier, a little harder. Worst of all, it can convince people that reaching out is a burden, when in reality, it's a lifeline. Connection doesn't always require a large family or a busy social calendar. Sometimes it starts with one consistent relationship. A neighbor you check in with once a week, a group you meet with twice a month, a cousin you call every Sunday. It might mean joining a book club, a walking group, or even a virtual discussion forum. The goal isn't to be surrounded by people. It's to feel emotionally seen by even just one. If that feels far away right now, start small. Smile at someone at the store, send a note to a relative, ask for help with a tech issue, not just because you need it, but because you know connection lives in those small moments of shared effort. At the heart of it, we all want the same thing: to be known, to be missed, to be cared about. When that disappears, misery can creep in, not because life has gotten worse, but because it's no longer shared. When even one thread of connection is woven back in, something changes. Life becomes warmer, lighter, and more worth waking up for. Here are some practical ways to foster emotional connections in old age. Reconnect with old friends. Reach out to friends from your past, even if you haven't spoken in a while. Join a social group. Participate in activities that interest you and allow you to meet new people. Volunteer. Give back to your community while connecting with others who share your values. Take a class. Learn something new and meet like-minded individuals. Spend time with family. Make an effort to stay connected with your loved ones, even if they live far away. Use technology to connect. Video calls, social media, and email can help you stay in touch with friends and family. Be open to new friendships. Don't be afraid to strike up conversations with people you meet in your daily life. Practice active listening. Show genuine interest in what others have to say. Share your feelings. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and express your emotions to trusted individuals. Seek professional support. If you're struggling with loneliness or isolation, consider talking to a therapist or counselor. 4. The habit of mental stimulation and curiosity. Keeping the mind sharp and engaged. When the body starts to slow down, one of the greatest gifts we still possess is the mind. But too often, that gift goes unwrapped. It sits quietly in the background while routines repeat, conversations shrink, and novelty fades. Without fresh mental stimulation, without the thrill of a new idea or the challenge of figuring something out, life can begin to feel flat. Not necessarily painful, but dull. Over time, that dullness can become a quiet form of misery. Consider Leonard, an 83-year-old retired accountant who once thrived on solving complex problems. After retiring, he felt relieved to finally have time for rest, but soon the days became repetitive. He watched the same shows, read the same newspaper columns, and went to bed feeling more tired than inspired. It wasn't until his granddaughter gifted him a set of crossword puzzles that something shifted. At first, he struggled to finish even the easy ones, but he persisted. Soon, he was looking forward to them each morning. His memory sharpened, his mood lifted, and most importantly, his curiosity returned. Doctors often say, use it or lose it. But what they really mean is this: your brain needs challenge the way your muscles need movement. It craves stimulation, and when that stimulation is missing, boredom can creep in slowly, quietly, and often unnoticed. Boredom that lingers long enough begins to chip away at joy. The opposite is also true. The moment your mind is reawakened, your world feels bigger again. Mental stimulation doesn't have to mean studying philosophy or learning a new language, though it can. It can also mean reading a new book genre, learning a new game, trying a new recipe, or even asking questions you've never asked before. It can be as simple as journaling your thoughts, solving puzzles, or learning how to use a new app. The point isn't perfection, it's participation. It's the willingness to keep engaging even when the world tries to tell you that you've had your turn. It's worth remembering that mental stimulation leads to emotional resilience. When your brain is active, you're more adaptable, more optimistic, and more capable of finding meaning in unexpected places. Curiosity becomes a light that helps you see what's still possible, not just what's already past. Some people think aging means settling into routines that never change, but that's a recipe for quiet disconnection. Growth doesn't stop at 60, 70, or 80. It just changes shape. The questions become different. The pace slows, but the hunger to learn, to explore, to feel mentally alive is still there. It always has been. When you give that part of yourself a little attention each day, something powerful happens. You feel more awake, more alert, more interested in the world around you, and that spark, once lit, pushes back against the shadows that boredom and stagnation bring. Here are some engaging ways to stimulate your mind and cultivate curiosity in old age. Read books, articles, and magazines. Explore new genres and topics that pique your interest. Solve puzzles and play brain games. Crosswords, Sudoku, and other brain games can challenge your cognitive skills and improve memory. Learn a new language, expand your horizons, and connect with different cultures. Take online courses or workshops. Learn new skills and gain knowledge in areas that fascinate you. Join a book club or discussion group. Engage in stimulating conversations with others who share your interests. Visit museums, art galleries, and historical sites. Immerse yourself in culture and history. Travel to new places. Explore different parts of the world and experience new cultures. Learn to play a musical instrument. Challenge your brain and express your creativity. Write in a journal. Reflect on your thoughts and experiences. Engage in creative hobbies. Painting, drawing, sculpting, and other creative activities can stimulate your mind and provide a sense of accomplishment. 5. The presence of self-worth and dignity. Recognizing your inherent value. There comes a point in life when the world may stop looking at you the same way. Cashiers speak slower, doctors speak over you, and family members make decisions without asking. Slowly, without anyone intending to, you may begin to feel small, like your value has somehow expired, like you're just an extra in the background of everyone else's busy lives. The truth is that growing older doesn't make you less important. Losing certain abilities doesn't diminish your worth, and needing help doesn't mean you've lost your dignity. What causes the real misery in old age is forgetting your worth, or worse, being treated like it's gone. Consider Carol, a 77-year-old former nurse who had spent decades caring for others. After a fall left her reliant on a walker, she noticed people started treating her differently. Conversations went around her, not to her. Strangers assumed she couldn't think for herself, and even family began speaking in a softer tone, as if she were fragile in every way. Carol didn't resent the help. What she missed was the respect, the sense that she was still capable of making her own choices. The loss of dignity, not the walker, is what wore her down. doctors and researchers are beginning to understand how vital it is for older adults to feel seen, respected, and involved in their own lives. When people are spoken to with dignity, when they're given choices, asked for their opinions, and treated as equals, their health improves, their confidence rises, and most importantly, their spirit stays intact. When that's missing, something begins to shut down, not just emotionally, but physically, because there's nothing more exhausting than feeling like you don't matter. It's not just about how others treat you, it's also about how you treat yourself. Are you still speaking kindly to yourself? Are you giving yourself credit for the wisdom, the endurance, and the experiences that have shaped you? Do you look in the mirror and see someone who still deserves to be respected even on the hard days? Self-worth doesn't come from achievements. It doesn't come from looking young or moving fast. It comes from remembering your story, from knowing that you've lived, loved, lost, learned, and kept going. That deserves honor. Every wrinkle has a reason. Every scar has a name. And every day you keep showing up is a quiet act of strength. If the world has made you feel invisible, let this be a reminder. Your worth was never based on how fast you walked or how much you could carry. It was never about titles or appearances. It's about presence, about who you are, and who you are right now, as you are, is still needed, still valuable, and still deeply worthy of dignity. Here are some ways to cultivate self-worth and maintain dignity in old age. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially during challenging times. Focus on your strengths and accomplishments. Remind yourself of what you've achieved in your life. Set realistic goals and celebrate your progress. Acknowledge your efforts and celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Engage in activities that make you feel good about yourself. Pursue hobbies, spend time with loved ones, or volunteer your time. Advocate for yourself. Speak up for your needs and preferences. Maintain your personal hygiene and appearance. Taking care of yourself physically can boost your self-esteem. Dress in clothes that make you feel good. Choose clothing that expresses your personality and makes you feel confident. Surround yourself with positive people. Spend time with people who value and support you. Seek professional support. If you're struggling with feelings of low self-worth or lack of dignity, consider talking to a therapist or counselor. 6. The feeling of being needed by someone or something. Reclaiming purpose through contribution. There's a quiet emptiness that can settle in when you no longer feel needed. It's not the same as loneliness. It's something deeper, something that speaks to your sense of purpose. When no one calls for your advice, when your presence feels optional instead of essential, when you could disappear for a few days and no one would notice, that's when the real weight of old age can set in. Deep down, every one of us wants to matter to someone. We want to know that our life still adds something to someone else's. Consider Frank, an 84-year-old man who had raised a family, built a business, and been a pillar of his community. In his later years, after his wife passed and his kids moved far away, something shifted. They still loved him, of course. They called sometimes. But the day-to-day interactions were gone. The favors, the little, "Can you help me with this?" moments. Without those, Frank began to feel like he had slowly become invisible, like the world was fine without him. Then a neighbor's child started coming by after school just to chat. Frank would share stories, listen to her ideas, and encourage her drawings. It was small, 15 minutes a few times a week, but it changed everything. He had something to prepare for, someone to look forward to, someone who needed him, not for what he used to be, but for who he still was. Doctors have found that feeling useful, even in the smallest ways, can lower depression, reduce cognitive decline, and even extend life expectancy. Beyond the studies, being needed brings back hope. It gives you a reason to show up. It pulls you out of yourself and back into the world. Being needed doesn't always come from family. Sometimes it's the dog that waits for your walk, the friend who counts on your phone call, the volunteer group that misses you when you skip a meeting, the neighbor who lights up when you wave from the porch. What matters is not how many people need you, but that at least one does. If you're sitting there thinking no one needs you anymore, challenge that thought. There is always someone who could benefit from your presence, your wisdom, your kindness, someone younger, someone lonely, someone struggling. Even reaching out to offer encouragement to someone else can start the cycle again. When you feel needed, you begin to see your life through a different lens. You stand a little taller, you care a little more, and you feel once again like you belong. We never outgrow the need to be needed, and when that need is met, even in a quiet, humble way, it makes life sweeter, fuller, and infinitely more worth living. Here are some ways to cultivate the feeling of being needed in old age. Volunteer your time. Offer your skills and experience to organizations that align with your values. Mentor someone. Share your knowledge and wisdom with younger generations. Help a neighbor. Offer assistance with errands, yard work, or household chores. Become a caregiver. Provide support to a family member or friend in need. Foster a pet. Provide companionship and care to an animal in need. Join a support group. Offer support and encouragement to others who are facing similar challenges. Teach a skill. Share your expertise with others by teaching a class or workshop. Offer advice and guidance. Share your life experiences and offer wisdom to those who seek it. Be a good listener. Show genuine interest in what others have to say and offer a supportive ear. Simply be present. Offer your companionship and support to those who are lonely or isolated. Final thoughts. Rebuilding what's been missing. Take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. Perhaps something stirred within you. Perhaps one of these 6 elements felt a little too familiar. Or perhaps you realize that what's been missing in your life isn't as complicated as you thought. Old age itself isn't inherently miserable. What makes it feel that way is the absence of the things that make us feel alive. A purposeful routine to guide your day. Physical habits that give you energy. Emotional connections that remind you you're not alone. Mental stimulation that keeps your mind sharp. Self-worth that upholds your dignity. The feeling of being needed by someone or something. None of these require perfect health, a full calendar, or youthful strength. They simply require intention and the willingness to reach toward what your spirit already knows you need. These 6 elements are like quiet companions. They don't shout, they don't demand, but when they're present, life feels richer, and when they're gone, you feel it in your bones, even if you don't have words for it. It's not too late. Whether you're 60 or 90, today can be the day you begin to rebuild what's been missing. One small action, one new habit, one phone call, one decision to honor your own worth, even if no one else notices just yet. We'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from this discussion, and how do you plan to use it in your life? Your thoughts are important, so don't hesitate to share them. If you found this discussion helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs and inspires. Thanks for reading, and we look forward to connecting with you in the next video.